let's talk about St. A's, as it's short. So St. Anselm College, we are a small private liberal arts college located right outside of Manchester, New Hampshire. So from here, drive time is a little under 2 hours. We're a fairly small school with about 2,000 students total. We offer 48 different undergraduate majors for students. And as I'm talking, if you want to look through those books, you might have flipped through them or whatnot, please feel free. We are a liberal arts college, meaning that what is important to us is that we want you to have a great foundation, and we want you to develop knowledge in a variety of areas outside of just your field of study or the major that you're looking for. We are an academically rigorous institution for sure. We are ranked in the top 100 of liberal arts colleges in the country. We're also very fortunate to be ranked as one of the top 20 most beautiful campuses, and we rank in the top 20 for the best food on a college campus, which is always a pretty good thing. So as I mentioned, we have 48 different majors. Some of our most popular, highest enrolled majors would be in nursing, criminal justice, psychology, politics, communications, the sciences such as biology, natural science. But again, we offer quite a diverse offering. What we're sure of is that no matter what major you choose with us, you're going to receive an outstanding education. We don't have a major just on the books to kind of make the list look pretty. If it wasn't a quality program, we're not going to offer it. Outside of the academic experience, there is a lot going on. Just because we are a smaller school does not mean that we are short on opportunities. We have over 70 different clubs and organizations on campus. That could be anything from student government to the Criminal Justice Society to A Hint of Lime, which is our a cappella group, Saga, which is the St. Anselm Gaming Association, for all those gamers out there, and I'm randomly picking off of some examples of a really extensive list of opportunities. Athletically, we're an NCAA Division II school, offering, having 18 varsity sports between men's and women's. We also have several club sports, which are intercollegiate competitive, and also have a great rec programs, intramural program for somebody that's not interested in trying to play varsity or competitive, but doesn't matter the ability, they just enjoy playing and can form teams with other St. A's students there too. So a lot that goes on outside of the classroom, and that's really important because we want you to have a complete college experience. What does that mean? That means engaged inside and outside of the classroom. Why students attend St. A's? They're going to tell you a whole bunch of different reasons. Why were they attracted to the school? It was a certain major. They liked the size of the school. Maybe it was potential to be a student athlete. Maybe it was any number of things that work for them. But why our students stay and why they're successful really is they will come back to you and say, it's the community. Now, if you've attended other college schools or college visits or may in the future, I will tell you right now, nobody's going to say, we don't have a good community. It's like when you ask them, how's your psychology program? I guarantee no school is going to say, oh, it's awful. But talking about community, hearing from our students, what that means for them is our students feel well supported. So for many people, it's obviously your first time away from home, heading off to college, change, transition, maybe a first-generation student that's, their family has not gone off to college and the first one blazing that trail. But regardless, our students want to feel supported, meaning that if you have a question, if you have a problem, if there's a concern, our students will tell you they feel like there's multiple people raising their hands saying, hey, how can I help you? And I think that's a really important environment, to be in a supportive environment, no matter what school you choose, what college that you're looking forward to. Because when you feel supported, you've got to have a better chance of achieving and reaching the goals that you look for in your college experience. So, I'm going to stop talking for a minute and say, what are some of the things that you're, questions that you might have, things that you're wondering about St. A's, or we can open it up to college search, things like that in general. I've been doing this for a long time, have a lot of experience in higher ed, college admissions, so questions, anything that you're wondering about, or those kind of questions that jump out to you right now? Yes, please.
Do you guys have an abroad program?
Great question. So yes, one of the many opportunities our students have is we do have an opportunity for students to study abroad. We have an international programs office. We have students that study in over 50 different countries around the world. So they would work with you to determine, is there a particular place in the world that you're looking to go to? If so, why? Or also maybe is it, depending on your major, is there a good place in the world for you to potentially study that's going to enhance that experience for you as well? But yet we do have that opportunity, and it comes in different forms. So some people think about study abroad and they're like, okay, I'm going to go to London for a full semester my junior year, and I'm going to study in London for a semester. Yes, we have students that do something like that, but we also have shorter trips that happen as well. So international trips, often faculty-led trips, things that happen throughout the year or in between the semesters or right after the spring semester ends. So shorter trips that are faculty-led. Sometimes a student wants to study abroad, but they don't want to go for 3.5 months to, but they love an opportunity to do something over the course of a couple of weeks tied to a specific course that they are, that faculty member was teaching is doing that. But yes, absolutely an opportunity to do that with our International Programs Office. Great question. Other things that you might be wondering about? Almost? Or was that just a hand jerk?
Huh?
Oh, okay. I thought you were, oh, okay, pen thing. I saw the hand move, I didn't know. Yes, again.
What is cyber criminology?
Okay, so one of the majors that we offer, one of our newer majors, is cyber criminology. So cyber criminology lives in the umbrella of our criminal justice department. And what that is that is the exploration, the investigation of cyber crimes. So it's not cyber security. Cyber security is when you log on to Amazon and they ask for your credit card information and they keep that secure and whatnot. They have programming in place to secure your personal information. That's cyber security. Cyber criminology is the investigation when somebody hacks Amazon or gets into a, some sort of cyber-related crime that they've gone in and accessed personal information or for a company or a bank or things like that. It's the investigation of those cyber crimes, so it's different. It's the, not the preventative computer science aspect, it's the investigative side of cyber crimes. Other things to know when it comes to St. A's, things that are really relevant to students is we are predominantly a residential campus, meaning that most of our students choose to live on campus. About 94% of our total students live on. We guarantee housing for students for all 4 years, but we don't have a live-on requirement. So some schools will say if you want to come here, you have to live on campus at least 2 years. We don't have that. It's a choice. Our students want to be on campus because there's so much going on, so many different activities, ways to be involved. They want that as part of their campus experience or their college experience there too. So most of our students live on. We do allow students to bring a car to campus, including freshmen, but if you get an opportunity to visit campus, you'll realize you certainly don't need one to get around. We have a nice sized campus, but you can walk comfortably from one side of campus to the other within like 10 minutes. We're not so spread out that it's all the housing's here, I gotta get on a shuttle bus 20 minutes later because all the academic classrooms are over here. So everything's pretty well intermixed as well. Anything else, question-wise? Nothing pops up, then I'll keep going. So, what are we looking for when a student, if you make the decision that you want to apply to St. Anselm College? How do you do that? What are we looking for? So, especially for seniors this year that are working on applications right now or getting up to doing that, especially helpful, but good frame of mind for everybody, including juniors in the room. So if you decide to apply, we have 2 applications. You can use either one. One, we use the common application, which you may be familiar with, which is an application that you're allowed to submit. You complete one application, and you can submit that application to any schools that accept the Common App. So right around in the U.S., there's just under about 1,000 schools that use the Common Application, which is great, because I'm completing one application versus maybe 6 if all of them are using the Common App. We also have our own St. Anselm College application if you would rather do that. whatever works for you, works for us. So, in addition to the application, which would also include your college essay, we ask for one letter of recommendation. We often get 2, that's great, but you don't have to worry, we're not looking for 6 or 13 like somebody sent me last year. Please don't send 13 letters of recommendation. Choose somebody that knows you well. Choose a teacher that knows you well. When it comes to your recommendation, we're interested in their insight and not their grade book. What I mean by that is, if there's a teacher that knows you well, I'm interested in their insight, their thoughts about you, how you work in the classroom, your character, your work ethic. Even if it's a teacher that knows you well, but you know what, that's not the class that I had the best grade in, that's okay. We really want to get to know you as a person through this process. It is not just numbers. So that's why that recommendation is, very valuable to us. In addition, your school will send us your official, your transcript. We'll evaluate that as part of the admission process. What we're really looking for is we want to be sure that you have the foundation academically from high school to be successful in the college curriculum at St. Anselm College. We don't want to set somebody up for failure. Does that mean you had to have all A's? No. Does that mean that there are also things like, hey, my GPA might be a little lower because maybe freshman year was an adjustment, or I struggled early on, but I have a good upward trend. Maybe I'm solid in a lot of areas, but there's one subject that's not my thing. Anybody have a subject that's not particularly your strongest subject? Mine was science. Right there. Oh, me too. Yeah. Science in high school, if I got above a C+, I was taking a victory lap because it just wasn't, as my science teacher said, who I had one science teacher for 2 years that I took science, was one of my recommendations when I went to college because she knew me. She always joked, she's like, Tony, you don't lack effort, you lack aptitude. I just wasn't wired for science. Worst part about it, my dad was a science teacher. So, yeah, that's a whole other conversation we have to. But she was a great recommendation. But we're looking at it and say, wow, okay, so maybe science isn't that student's thing. So the grades were a little lower, but they're stronger in these other areas. All of those things matter when you're looking at the big picture. We're not just looking at your GPA and saying, okay, everybody above a 3.0 is in, or below a 3.0 is out. I just randomly picked a number there. That doesn't say everything. A GPA is just a number. It's what's behind it that helps us get that whole picture on students. So, any questions about thinking about applications? Yes, please.
So this isn't about applications, but
Okay.
it's about your diversity rate?
Sure. So, our diversity numbers, we have 10% of our student population that identifies in our diversity numbers. So, and that's something that we are looking to continue to see grow. We have some wonderful programs. We have our Intercultural Center, which has great programs for all students, but to allow more people to learn about our diverse populations, not just our diversity students. We also have some great programs, such as a program called Transitions, which works with our diversity students coming to campus, maybe especially first-generation students too, kind of getting there early, start establishing some connections, mentors is part of that program to help them with that transition as well. So, great question. Okay, so one more thing I want to talk about is money. So, yeah, see, I saw the head shake. Right. So, talk a little bit about financial aid and trying to give you the basic understandings of this that you may or may not be familiar with. So, I'm going to give you a big, scary number, and then we're going to work from there. So, this year, the cost of attendance to go to St. A's, which was, tuition, housing, meal plan, fees, everything all in, was just over $59,000 a year. See? And I see the bug in the head look and go, yeah.
I
Yeah.
was guessing 49. You want to
Feel the same way, Now, I will tell you, pretty much almost all of our students, nobody's paying anywhere near that. All right? So the college does offer financial aid, and it comes in different shapes and forms. So one of the ways that it comes to starting with is what we call non-need-based aid. So this, some of the things that you may be eligible for, regardless of your family's financial situation, are merit scholarships. So we review every student. You don't have to apply for them. You're automatically considered when your application is reviewed for a decision. Our merit scholarships this year range from $16,000 to $30,000 per year. And that scholarship is renewable each of the 4 years that you're at St. Anselm College. So if you received a $25,000 scholarship, your first year, as long as you maintain a certain GPA at St. A's, and the GPA renewal is very reasonable, like a 2.2, to be able to renew that for your sophomore, junior, and senior year. Because we want students to have a high probability of renewing that scholarship. In addition, we also offer need-based financial aid. Now, need-based aid is something with pretty much every school you're going to need to apply for. In every school, it's a little different on how you do it. The main thing, the one thing that we require for students is submitting a form called FAFSA. That's short for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. You can complete that. You can complete that starting October 1st of your senior year, and make sure that that's been submitted by whatever the college due dates are for that form. That allows our financial aid office to gather, financial information about the student, the family, in order to review you for need-based aid as well. So, not all need-based financial aid means loans. Okay? There are some federal loans that students may qualify for through the need-based process, but there are also with us other institutional money, grants and things that you don't have to pay back that you can be awarded through the need-based process. So by the time that students have received merit and or need-based aid, because you can qualify for both, they are paying much less than that original big scary number that we talked about. The other thing I'll tell you is certainly finances for almost all families impacts your decision on where you're going to go. And it should, because again, most families, I just sent my son to his freshman year of college, and yep, finances are a big piece of that for us too, and totally get that. It'll give you an opportunity when you're applying to schools, when you receive financial aid packages, to comparison shop, look at what those, what schools are offering you as well. Because when you apply during your senior year, you have until May 1st to make your decision to let the colleges know to let the college that you choose know where you're going, if you're going to go there or not. So you have time to figure those things out. But application-wise, the earlier you submit, earlier you'll hear in most cases, and give yourself more time to explore all your options. And then the last thing I will say is, if you have an opportunity to visit campus, St. Anselm College, or any other school you're considering, I really encourage you to visit that campus. Not drive through and look and realize they have buildings and trees and grass, but take a tour through an admission office, attend an open house event. Really give you a chance to learn about that school, but you with kind of the boots on the ground, physically being there, will give you a lot of insight and a feeling of, okay, I can really see myself here, or you know what, maybe this isn't the place for me. And if that's the decision, that's okay. You're making an informed decision, but a chance to look at a college, to visit, talk to people in person there, is going to be better than just checking out their website or looking at them on Naviance, or coming to meet the admission person and hear from me in person or anybody else is helpful, but again, getting there is going to help give you a more a fuller picture. So, any other questions?
Are you test optional?
Great question. So yes, when it comes to applying, we are a test optional school, meaning that you are not required to submit SAT or ACT scores, and it is truly an option. It is not hidden code for we're test optional, but you should really submit them.
I was just about to ask that.
What's that?
I was just about to ask that.
It's a popular sentiment, because you know what? Some colleges, it is. you are still considered for merit scholarships, the full range of merit scholarships. There are some schools out there that say if you want to be considered for merit, you have to submit your scores. Well, most people are really looking at merit scholarships, and it really doesn't become optional. The other thing is that if you are not sure if you should submit your scores or not, submit them. Here's why. Submit them for St. Anselm College. Here's why. Our policy is, when it comes to standardized testing, we are test optional, but our policy is also do no harm. So what that means is, if we receive your test scores, and you would indicate on your application, yes, I'm going to send my scores, or I'm going to, please consider them, or please don't. We ask you that question on the application. But if you submit your scores, and we feel that they help or enhance your application, we will use them. If we feel that they are not really reflective of everything else that we're seeing in a student's application, we won't use them. So you don't have to worry. I get lots of students over the years that hem and haw. Do I submit them? Do I not submit them? Does it help? Does it hurt? I thought it helped, but maybe it hurt. Let's remove that stress. So know that if you submit them with us, if they're going to help, we'll use them. If they're not going to help, we're going to discard them.
Is it not required for the nursing program?
So right now we are test optional for the nursing program as well. That normally was required for nursing, but the last 2 years we've waived that because of everything that's gone on with COVID too.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yes, please.
How are your dorms?
How are our dorms? So we have a variety of different housing options for students. So our first year students live in traditional residence halls. So living in a residence hall with several rooms along a hallway and so many floors of a building. First year women live in there's two residence halls that are just first year women. There's one residence hall, and sometimes they use a little bit of another for freshmen men. And so those are the traditional halls. And in most cases, you would have one roommate. So almost all of our freshmen are in double rooms. As you move through your college career, your housing options expand. So going into sophomore year, junior year, senior year, we have different types of housing outside of traditional halls, such as halls that offer suite style housing, like several bedrooms in a common living area, and our residence hall building. We also have townhouses and apartments, which is pretty much where our juniors and seniors live. So, variety of those. Great question. Okay. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. The last thing I will tell you is, as you go through this process, starting your process as juniors while you're in the process of looking at schools and applying as seniors, it is just that. The college search is a process. So questions that you're not even thinking about now, and you've asked some great questions today, as you go through this process, your lens is going to change. Meaning that, as a senior starting to apply to schools, you have a certain set of questions. 2 months in, after you've been admitted, you're trying to make decisions, whatnot, you're going to have different sets of questions. That's normal. The most important thing is do not be shy in reaching out to ask those questions. The most important thing we do in our admission office is to make sure that you have the information you need to make the best decision for you. We would love to have you at St. Anselm College if it's the place that you're going to have the college experience that you are looking for and has those things that are important to you in doing that. If we don't have them, or any school doesn't have that, you shouldn't go to that school. It doesn't mean it's a bad school. It means that it's not right for you. And there are a lot of schools out there there's not just one school that's the right fit. The odds are, in reality is, there are multiple schools that you will be able to have the college experience that you're looking at. But you want to make sure that you have all the information you need to make the best decision for you. So, thanks very much for your time this morning. Appreciate the questions. Things that you were wondering about. Again, you guys asked some great questions. And as I shared with everybody, I also gave folks my business card as well. If you have any questions anywhere along the lines, if your family has questions anywhere along the lines, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Like I said, I am here to help. I am not here to talk you into St. A's. I want to make sure that you have the information you need to make the best decision for you. So, thanks very much. Good luck with the school year. Stay safe, have fun. Glad that we're back and not having to do this over a Zoom screen.
Yeah.